It's the Nuka Cola Lounge, presented by the S.P.E.C.I.A.L League.
It's a hoax for sure.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Nuka Cola Lounge podcast number 10. Can't believe this is our 10th episode already. Technically our 11th, actually. We've had the 10 major episodes plus the one bonus episode. But yes, once again, this is the podcast where we talk about all things Fallout. And I'm here as always with Saib. How are you doing today, Saib?
Well, I had a little bit of a mole rat incursion. And then just after that, I drank a wee bit too much Nuka Cola Quantum, and now I am partially ghoulified, mainly in my chest area.
Well,
So my voice is not up to snuff.
I am sorry to hear that, but what were you doing drinking Nuka Cola Quantum?
I have been working on a recipe for it, and everything's been going really well, except for the plutonium and uranium samples. I need to be covered in lead when I'm working with those, but I drink it straight after that. I'm gonna have to go back to the drawing board. Kids, don't try and make this stuff at home. Leave it to the professionals.
Yes, or to us, you know.
So lots of news out this week.
Yeah, there's been a ton of stuff released from Bethesda this week. But I think the biggest news of the week was the Fallout Loot Crate, which went live on Wednesday and then proceeded to break the internet, or at least people trying to order managed to break Loot Crate. It sold out within an hour, and people were having a ton of issues actually getting their orders through, and a lot of people wound up being charged for multiple orders, and Twitter was just on fire with everybody tweeting about this. Somebody wanted to dub this Lootgate and tried to get that hashtag started. I don't think it took, but I found that amusing.
That would be very funny. I feel kind of a little bit bad for Loot Crate, but at the same time, they should have expected this just based off of the pre-orders. This is a special Loot Crate, so it's not in their regular monthly rotation. That probably was also not the best decision. I mean, it increases ordering complications. The price jump is going to impact a lot of people. They're going to feel, really, really ripped off if the crate is not absolutely amazing. And a lot of people who can't get access to the internet for the whole 20 hours of advance notice that they gave before they put it up, without mentioning ahead of time that it was going to be a special order item.
I saw quite a few tweets where people were saying, I was at work and couldn't order this thing, and of course it sold out by the time they get home. It was sold out within minutes.
They might lose a lot of business over this decision. They definitely lost a lot of potential business. But hopefully what we'll see is that Loot Crate simply put the ordering process on hold.
If the numbers of actual sales were skewed because of those multiple order errors, and there were tons of them, Loot Crate brought in all of their support staff to deal with all of the thousands of support tickets that they had to go through. So obviously things are a big mess on their end. So once the dust settles and everything clears up, there might be some more of these crates available. When the loot crates were sold out, visitors to the website were treated to this message. Hey, Vault Dwellers, you hit the site harder than a super mutant behemoth, so we're shutting the vault doors for now, but we might be back later, so there's a bit of a teaser there that there might be some more Fallout loot crates available in the future. Anyway, on to happier things, happier topics. Quite a few videos out from Bethesda this week, which was surprising. They're continuing to put out those special stats videos, which is not surprising. What was surprising was everything else that came out. We were under the impression that there wasn't going to be much more in terms of game content that they would be revealing before the actual game release, but then they put out this video detailing the new character system, which was very interesting to watch. It talked a little more in detail about the leveling process and showed you what things are going to look like on your Pip-Boy when you're managing your character stats and leveling up, and it also revealed just a gigantic poster outlining all of the perks that are available upon leveling up. And there's a total of 70. You take each of the special stats, and each of those have 10 ranks, and for each rank of each special stat, there is a perk that you can select. So if you have a charisma level of 4, there are 4 charisma perks that you can choose from each time you level up, and you can choose any one of them right off the bat. So that was really interesting. Plus, then each of the perks has its own levels within it, or its own ranks within it. When you add it all up together, it totals out at 275 perk levels. But this chart is just fantastic. It's laid out like a big grid, and it kind of looks like a vault from Fallout Shelter. It's going to be interesting to comb through that and look at what all of the different perks are.
Yeah, and there's a lot of them that we know. There's a couple of them that are new. We'll do a full video on this when we get a chance to really dissect it.
There are some very interesting looking ones, actually, and one that was highlighted in the video is the level 10 charisma perk called Intimidation, and apparently you can just point your weapon at people and manipulate them that way, just sort of being intimidating and threatening, which is a really interesting sounding mechanic. In previous Fallout games, people don't even really seem to react much if you're just carrying your weapon around out in the open. And you can be pointing it right at somebody, and they're like, "Hey, how you doing?"
Yeah, there's a little bit of a disconnect for immersion at that point. But what we'll see with this really allows people to do a pacifist playthrough. So killing as few people as possible, which was something that you could do really, really well in New Vegas. But it was very, very, very difficult to do that in Fallout 3.
Yeah, I've heard of people trying pacifist runs in Fallout 3, and how would you even do that?
You have so many forced fights that I don't think it's really possible without just running behind a bunch of Brotherhood of Steel people all game long.
Just follow them all.
But the New Vegas style, you can definitely complete the main quest line without killing anybody.
Clearly, they're trying to open up player freedom as much as they possibly can. That's just excellent to see.
People like to have options, and options are always, always good.
I don't know that my playstyle is going to change much, but we'll see.
My playstyle never changes. It's always the same.
We're stuck in a rut, aren't we?
No, not really.
Been gaming for too long.
Depends on how much you enjoy it.
So a few other things out from Bethesda this week. I guess you'd call them kind of bonus features almost. And one is the composer of the Fallout 4 soundtrack playing the Fallout 4 main theme on grand piano. It's hard to describe. It's just beautifully, beautifully done. The song itself has some familiarity to it. It's definitely got some strains from the Fallout 3 theme song in it, but it's also its own song. And it's very, very hauntingly beautiful, and he plays it with such a passion. It was very fascinating to watch.
Fallout music is always supposed to have that strong, ghosty, kind of sad, kind of ominous sound to it, and they really hit it out of the park on this one. I really love it. I usually prefer just a hint more of a sci-fi feel to it, but I think this is really, really good. It really touches on the past and the future kind of blend that they're putting into this game.
And it's going to be really great to hear the full orchestral rendering of it when we first load up the game. You could write to them and just ask them to put in some theremin if you want more of that sci-fi edge, Zybe, and I'm sure they'd oblige you on that. Oh, and speaking of music in Fallout 4, I saw something on Twitter. I've been spending a lot of time on Twitter lately, which is really kind of strange for me, but it's been a lot of fun too. Somebody tweeted at Bethesda saying they really want to see Weird Al's Christmas at Ground Zero in the Fallout 4 soundtrack. Actually, speaking of Weird Al, this has nothing to do with Fallout, but he's on tour right now, and I was actually at his show a couple of weeks ago, and it was just nerds everywhere. The t-shirts were fantastic. I saw the Hyrule crest, I saw the Planet Express logo, I saw the white on blue I Like Me shirt from Rooster Teeth. But I think the most amusing thing to me of the entire night was watching his bassist, because I was in the second row, right up close to the stage, and he likes to come out in the audience a lot, so there was a point where I could have reached out and touched Weird Al, but I didn't really want to because he was really sweaty. But watching his bassist, who was really close to us the entire night, he's this older guy who's been playing with Weird Al since his very first album, and I just had to laugh at how bored he looked through the entire show. He's just rocking out to these hilarious songs, and the whole time he's kind of got this look on his face like he's trying to remember if he renewed his Costco card. Anyway, bringing that back around, I would love to hear Christmas at Ground Zero in the Fallout 4 soundtrack. The other video out from Bethesda this week was sort of a behind-the-scenes feature featuring the dog that they modeled dog meat off of, which was really neat to see. It's this German Shepherd named River. The video it's very short. It's only about a minute long, but they cut back and forth from visuals of their CG dog to visuals of the real dog. They took a whole lot of video of this dog doing things, running in the forest, and playing and standing up on things, and getting shots of her in various positions and doing various activities, and also recording her barks and things like that. So they're using her to really make their dog meat character as realistic as possible, which the fans, I think, are just going to absolutely love. And of course, the special stats videos keep coming out, which are really well done and really funny. 3 of them have been released so far: strength, perception, and endurance. And it's really, really neat to see the breakdown of how each of these stats affects you during your gameplay.
I'm a big fan of these. I love the fact that, they go that extra mile and do something that's interesting for the content. Absolutely wonderful. Wasn't really surprised by anything in the perception or the endurance ones. I was fairly surprised by their open focus on cannibalism.
Yes, in the endurance video, noting that cannibalism is an option.
Cannibalism is always an option, but it is in fact frowned upon by most societies.
Well, it's an interesting thought to think, if this scenario were real, how many people would resort to cannibalism? And how many would choose not to go in that direction, either because of a moral stance or because of just the yick factor?
Well, if Until Dawn showed us anything, it's that anybody can fall to cannibalism.
I don't think that anybody would necessarily resort to cannibalism. I think there's a lot of people that would not cross that line, even if it meant starving. Anyway, is there anything in these first 3 special stats vids, strength, perception, endurance, anything in there that differs from previous games?
Not really. They've definitely refined it. We'll wait to see how the other ones do, especially intelligence, because intelligence, the vast majority of what intelligence used to do, is not there anymore, so we'll definitely need to see how that goes.
Interesting. So that's what's been happening this week in Fallout news. As always, if you have any thoughts on any of these things, or have any insights, or just want to chat at us, feel free to drop some comments down below or tweet at us. Our Twitter handle is @SSLeague. Also, be sure to subscribe and stay tuned for updates on our channel. We're going to be releasing something new and different in the very near future, so make sure you stay tuned for that. And thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Nuka Cola Lounge. On behalf of S.P.E.C.I.A.L, who is hopefully feeling better by the next time, my name is Ash. Stay unradiated out there.
We got lots of radiation in here.